Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Hope you're all well, and thank you for joining me. So the documentary will cover the first Saviour Machine years until 1995, yes. Absolutely, it's basically, this is an inception story. It's the story that no one really knows. The Legend Project and especially the public disaster that went down with, record companies and management and all that stuff back in the day. The Legend debacle is quite documented. And there's one part of this Saviour Machine story, though, that very few people know, and that's the story we're telling. And that's not only the origin of all of it, how it started, when and where, and most importantly, why. And so this is an origin story, and it's a story about two brothers who faithfully committed to a vision together and saw it from a garage to a stage in Germany. And so it covers from 1988 to 1995. That 7-year period, a lot happened in there. You know what? I wish I could say I was just doing this for the fans, and a huge part of this is for everyone that's ever really loved this thing. This is a love letter back to you for sure, but it's also it's a love letter to my family, to my friends, to everyone that ever had a place in making this thing happen. It's a big family, and in a lot of ways this is a love letter to the family of Saviour Machine that made all of this possible. So, and of course at its core, before I get much more emotional about this, well, at least we're getting that out of the way now, that's good. It's a story of two brothers, and that's at the core of all of this, for sure. You're looking at a rehearsal of Signet Committee in May of 1988, garage rehearsal, and like I said, this thing should not only answer lots of questions you have, all of you, but probably open up a whole bunch more somehow. So 1993 is the meat of this thing. Right in the heart of this documentary is all of 1993. So that New Union thing was November 14th of 93, so it's definitely covered. I think the episode 9, actually, episode 9, which is titled Christians and Lunatics, that episode is devoted to that entire 93 tour. Okay? The Mask, episode 3 gets into the entire origin story behind the Mask, and how when the cat came home developed and turned into the Mask, and how the persona grew and all that good stuff. It's all there, brother. Live in Deutschland is featured, and featured in the cleanest resolution we've ever had it. I'll say this, brothers and sisters, give me just a second here. If you still want new Saviour Machine music after 12 and a half or 13 hours of this, I guess I'll consider it. But in the meantime, what I can tell you is that there is so much in this thing that you've never seen, that you've never heard, that no one's ever seen or ever heard. There's versions of songs you've never heard. There's songs you've never heard. There's, yeah, I don't think I need to sell it anymore. It is what it is. This is it's as if I opened my private video library. It's a bunch of home movies that somehow I've spent the last 3 years with a very, very lovely team of people that are just amazing. And when I say team of people, I'm talking 3. We're hoping to expand to 4 soon. We've transferred it all. We've upscaled it. We've been months and months of cleaning this stuff up and making it beautiful. And Devin Graves is now making it sound beautiful. My brother's doing a lovely score and soundtrack for this thing. There's There's so much in here that no one's ever seen or heard. It's, for me to try to describe all the stuff that's in here would just be mind-blowing. That's why it's going to be 13 hours, you know. Question about subtitles. Yes, Portuguese for sure. You should, I should mention this, when you go to the Overture, the free Overture, which I hope you've all seen by now. If you haven't, I encourage you to please watch the Overture. It's free. It's 32 minutes. That Overture, before you start it, hit 1080p for your quality, and then of course, look at that guy, 21 years old. Birthday, yeah. So, yeah, sorry, lost my train of thought there. Yeah, Portuguese subtitles. Subtitles will be available in multiple languages, and they're very, very, very accurate, excellent. They have been painstakingly put together. Those subtitles are excellent, and I encourage you all to watch the Overture with your subtitles of choice, with your language of choice. It's enhancing the experience for sure. We had a little bit of a connection in the kind of goth scene, you know, what was left of the goth scene in 1990, 91, Southern California. We had our metal fans, we had our prog fans, but we didn't really find our core audience until we first started performing for Christian audiences, you know, and we get into that in late 1991. The episode I'm currently editing right now. Episode 2 covers all of 1990 and 1991, including the initial and I guess inaugural Saviour Machine performance in the Christian music industry, which is Southern California in November of 1991. So another good question. George, yes, we did play the Sunset Strip, and we definitely get into how depressing that was. 1990, yeah. Sam West and Alan and Scatterfield, yep, that's all in the doc as well, all that stuff. Episode 3 gets into how we met Sam, how Sam became Saviour Machine's drummer, and the cross relationship between Saviour Machine and Scattered Few and Mortal, and a lot going on during that time, for sure. Good question. The name Saviour Machine. Well, it comes from a David Bowie song, a very old David Bowie song, kind of an obscure track on a very, very great record that, yeah, I get into all that in this documentary. In this first episode, we talk about the origin of where the name came from, all of that, for sure. Yeah, brother, like I said, you'll know it all by the time this thing's finished. Cornerstone forever. First time I was there was 93. I cover that in this as well, even though Saviour Machine didn't perform there in 93. But my trip to Cornerstone in 93 is covered and well documented. And the footage will blow some people's minds, for sure. Did someone ask about vocal training? I must have missed that one. No, I get into that in the documentary as well. I think episode 6. Episode 6, which is me in the studio recording vocals for Saviour Machine 1. The entire episode 6 is basically all of the recording of vocals for that album. And yes, you'll learn all about how I learned to sing along the way, and hopefully still learning how to do that. But no, I've never had any formal training. Yeah, you know what? Craig, I really appreciate that you spotted that. My journals extensively cover everything that was going on in my personal life and around the band. So, as Craig pointed out with this question, it's one of the reasons why I'm telling this story, because, like I said, the latter story has been told publicly, social media, the internet, all that. This is the story before the internet, people. There were things that happened before the internet, you know? And so that's the story I'm telling. There's times where this documentary does feel like a dream, not only to me who's making it, but it may feel like a bit of a dream to you guys as well if I did it right. But of course, there's nostalgia, there's sentiment, there's all these things. There are whole movies, and it's me telling the story of what we went through, you know, and so it's going to have those kind of elements, you know. But brother, it's a beautiful story. It's bittersweet because we all know how this thing ended, you know. The legend story, again, as I said, has been well documented, and there's a very powerful story to be told before, and maybe there's a way to put a bittersweet ending on all of this, okay? So yeah, when I say there's footage that you've never seen, I mean it. There's it's not just like 2 minutes of a concert. I'll take a 30-minute performance and make it 9 minutes of, you know, the best we got. And so it's, like I said, I think this episode 1, there's over 50 minutes of bootleg footage that no one's ever seen, just in the first episode. So, sell. Brother, you know what, the bitterness and so forth that I went through, especially my journals, you know, the journals cover a pretty dark time. If you've been following since I came back, brother, I'm all about spreading love and joy and openness and honesty and communication, and doesn't mean Saviour Machine can't still be this cryptic, enigmatic thing that it always was. It's just we're in a time now where I think people need to peel back some layers and realize that we're all human and we're all going through the same fucking thing at the same time, you know? So, and as I said earlier, it's a chance for me to tell a much more intimate story, you know? It's really like reading my journals, but like less depressing, you know? What genre did you believe SM to be included in? Were you misgenred in the, you know, that's a good question, Joel Thomas. I'm not sure if we ever really found a niche anywhere, and there's a lot of narrative in this thing about that. And you know, it happens though, when we weren't gothic enough to be a goth band, we weren't metal enough to be a metal band, we weren't wave enough to be, we weren't proggy enough to be yet if you put all the things together, somehow we were, yeah, just unique enough not to be able to be labeled. And that may be great for longevity and for history and for a place in the rock pantheon, but not necessarily great if you're trying to get a record deal or trying to build a following and things like that back in the day. It was really hard for Saviour Machine. I mean, look, we were doing this in '89, you know? It was really hard for us to, hair metal was the thing then. It was right before grunge, you know? And so this was scary to record companies, and they thought we were religious nuts and, you know, all that. So the doc covers the demo, I mean, pre-demo, demo, leading up to Saviour Machine 1. All of the recording of Saviour Machine 1, the entire year of 1993 is broken down like you were there. The recording of the record, the middle episodes of this thing, episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7, take you into the studio, literally. In the middle of this sweeping documentary, you're going to spend 5 hours with us in the studio in the middle of this thing. And it's really a unique thing. It's a unique project. I think it's somewhat unprecedented, at least the way it's being put together, at least for an indie project for sure. So yeah, it's going to get into all of that, all of it. Saviour Machine 1, and you know, there is a place for a little tribute to Saviour Machine 2 and Live in Deutschland as well. Like I said, the main focus of this thing is 1993 because it was such a pivotal year in our history, but 94 and 95 are covered very well and pretty comprehensively in that final 10th and final episode, you know. With the exception of all these amazing bootlegs and all this super rare stuff that you're going to see in this thing, the rest of it, when you see me talking on a balcony or when you see me sitting with, you know, just anywhere talking, I'm sitting there talking to friends. And I wanted to make sure that, well, I don't know if you've seen the overture yet, but I wanted to make sure that from the beginning of this to the very, very end, that it feels like a conversation, brother. But it feels exactly like that, like you're just sitting with me and I'm telling you telling you our story. And anything else would be pretentious and far too, pompous. So, yeah, the only way to tell this story is exactly like this. An old man sitting down and saying, gather around, kids. Give me my pipe, you know. I'll tell you a story. That's basically what's going on, brother. Sometimes the artist doesn't understand the full magnitude of what it is until 20 years later. And that's also been part of this journey as well. What's the most awesome gift that music gave me? Oh, man. You know what? It gave me, and still continues to give me, an opportunity to connect with people, you know? And I mean that, like, connect with people on a truly human, emotional, and sometimes spiritual level. And there's nothing better, you know. Shared experience is it's becoming, well, a lost art form. And I think it's important that we don't forget how to share moments together. But this is the end of episode 1. All 2 hours and 7 minutes of it. And, well, thank you for watching. That's weird reading things backwards. I've already been given so much from music. It's where it has, let's say, failed me economically or financially or things like that. The process of being a musician and creating music has been one of the most fulfilling aspects of my entire life, and so. Yeah, it's not always about the money and the glory and the fame and all that stuff. Sometimes it's just enough to be connected to something, and something that's real, you know, something that's real and powerful, and God willing will stick around longer than I do. Oh yes, like you're gonna see, you'll see drums being recorded, bass, guitar, vocals, keyboards. You'll see Saviour Machine 1 come together in the studio. I can't begin to express that enough. It'll feel like you're in the studio with us. Again, I don't want to shake a cup here, but you know, I'll just say this, people, and I mean this really from the bottom of my heart. If you have ever, and I mean ever, wanted to support my work as an independent artist, as someone who's tried to play outside of the system for his entire career, if you've ever wanted to support what I'm doing, there's never been a greater opportunity than this. This is a passion project coming from me to you, and it's PayPal. It's pretty simple. When you order it, you get an email directly from me. It's, again, there's no record company here, there's no agency, there's no nothing. It's me and a very, very small group of people, and you're supporting something pretty cool and pretty unique, and I love you for it, and God bless you for it. Okay. The world needs more of, like I said earlier, needs more communication right now. Needs more stories. Stories are all we have, people. Right? You know. Let's all come together in a collective consciousness, if we can. Just that we know we can all do better than this. And see if we can bring some clarity through the chaos, okay? The story's bittersweet, of course, and it all depends on how you look at it, but I can promise you that whatever spirit you get from me over the last 10 years and from my work will resonate profoundly through this documentary, and it will feel like you're having a conversation with me, and if sitting and talking with me makes you feel good and makes you, I don't know, makes you feel like there's a little hope left in the world, decency, then I think think I got you covered there, brother. I think we can accommodate, okay? Listen, grace and peace and love and generosity and openness and honesty, people. Be honest with each other. We need, God, do we need that right now? Okay? We all need it.